Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another great installment of MUTEvolution.com's Draft Countdown, brought to you by me, DarkAlpha. Weren't the Lions supposed to be good this year? Last year they went to the playoffs, they made the playoffs, they went head-to-head with Drew Brees in a giant shootout, lost near the end, had tons of talent, and then this year just came out looking flat, unorganized, undisciplined. It seems like they were just missing everything. They didn't have a lot of injuries. Matthew Stafford was healthy, again, which is a big accomplishment I might add. Ndamukong Suh was healthy. Megatron was healthy. He didn't even suffer the Madden curse. He broke the record. Jerry Rice's almost untouchable record for receiving yardage in a season in Week 16. But they just seem to have the worst errors at the worst times, compounded by worse luck. Matthew Stafford would misfire like there, throwing it to nobody with his weird mechanics. Here, look, it's at the 26. I do a full power field goal, and it's short. Things like this would just haunt the Lions all season. Mental errors, bad luck, and blowing leads at the end. Justin Forsett's knee was supposed to be down against the Texans, and then they challenged it, and that made the touchdown unchallengeable or unreviewable. Andrew Luck leading the huge comeback. It seems like they would just find new ways to lose. You know, the Lions just gonna, I hate to say this, Lions gonna lion. The Lions have had a losing culture since forever, made Barry Sanders retire, and it really seems like they just found ways to blow it. I have a pick here with DeAndre Levy. You know, great play by me, I might add, but this guy, DeAndre Levy, he would blow so many things the rest of the game. They can't stay consistent. Consistency was actually, one of their biggest things. I try to do a little more pass-happy offense in this game, compared to my previous run-heavy games. Personally, I like to run, but the Lions aren't built for it, so I replayed with here, a little screen pass to Javid Best. The poster boy for concussions, not going to play anymore, but I get a touchdown with him. Happy trails, Javid Best. Maybe in a different life he would have been something great. And then here, the Lions, they had the Silver Train Express with a great defensive line. Nick Fairley, trying to be a bust. The Ndamukong Suh, rumors of him being called a bust. Luis Delmas getting saved by drop pass there. A great safety, but he's, can't stay healthy. It just seems like the Lions just, are underperforming at every area. All those years of picking in the top 2 or 3 of the draft, coming back to bite them now. Those huge contracts were made before the rookie salary cap. They're paying enormous sums of money to Stafford, Suh, Megatron. They're not able to pay some of their good players on the rest of the team. Cliff Avril is one of the few bright spots on the defense. They may not be able to keep him. Salary cap restrictions may make him, be a free agent and walk. It's really a shame that they have to let these stars go. Some more bad luck. I forced a fumble. I'm not able to recover. Here on 3rd and 19, he throws it right to me, and the Lions just go right through them, and he converts another first down. It's just stuff like this would happen. Here on 3rd and 4, I know a draw is coming. I'm going to run commit. I'm going to blitz. Stop him here. But we all know what happens when people get to 4th downs on me. They're going to go for a 4th down. Check this out. I stop the 4th down. This is the Lions. They would make a great play, get a turnover, roughing the passer, first down him. Lions gonna lion. If they let Cliff Avril walk, they might be able to keep the other free agent on their team, Chris Houston, the cornerback. However, they might choose to take Avril, or they might choose both, or neither. It depends on what they want. Houston's one of the few bright spots. If they do let him walk, they're going to need a cornerback. G. Milliner, if he's still there at 5, they have to be considering him. Who they could see if another corner rises up the draft boards. Xavier Rhodes out of Florida State. Desmond Trufant out of Washington. Jonathan Banks out of Mississippi State has also had a very strong season. They could also choose maybe later in the draft. David Amerson might fall. He had a pretty weak season. They really need help in the secondary, though. However, a great defensive line, covers up a secondary. They have interior pressure with Suh, one of the best tackles in the league. Nick Fairley, he's coming up there, but they need some edge pressure, and they need some ability to set the edge. They have Devontae Moore, Texas A&M. I've spoken about him a lot. Jordan Warner out of Florida State, also a fantastic defensive end. I've mentioned Ezekiel Ansah out of Brigham Young a lot in my other videos. This man has so much, untapped potential, not playing football very much. Here, he breaks a tackle, runs for a touchdown. Madden hates me. So Ansah could do a lot. You could also take Barkevius Mingo, the Louisiana State defensive end, who just has incredible physical tools. Him and Sam Montgomery have been great. Both these defensive ends have so much talent. They're not that polished. They're going to need great coaching, but they could be somebody special. The Lions could also roll the dice with Jarvis Jones, the outside linebacker from Georgia. He played at USC, had some spinal issues, wasn't cleared to play again by USC, transferred to Georgia, had a great season. This man is so freakishly talented, but medical concerns almost always cause a draft slide. But the Lions have been, not afraid to go for it. They may take him, and he could reward them greatly. Something else the Lions have been missing, an explosive run game. They have this huge pressure with Megatron and Stafford to go deep, keep opponents out of the box. If they get a running back, they might be able to take advantage of this and take some pressure off them. They're going to have several options. Eddie Lacy out of Alabama, one of the best running backs, great mix of explosion and power and speed. He's also got, fresh legs, hasn't been used very much. They also got Giovanni Bernard out of, North Carolina. Somebody else they could consider in the later rounds, Stephon Taylor, one of my absolute favorite running backs in college. He comes from Stanford. He can do everything. Power run game. He can catch. He can block well. He's also comes from a great team in Stanford. The Lions really could use the locker room presence. They may want to consider him in the later rounds. I feel like he could do a lot for their team and add a whole new dimension. The Lions do also need to find help from Megatron and Stafford. Right now, it's just a two-man show. They could go wide receiver on day 2. If one of the wide receivers has a fall, they may be able to pick him up. Or they might have to look deeper. You just don't know, but they need to find somebody to help Megatron. Here's where my game differs from the actual Lions. The Lions blow it, but I get a little lucky with Drew Brees missing. The Lions would get no such luck. Everything that went against them this year, that could go against them did. Like, every time a coin flip happened, they would lose. 50-50-90, 50-50 shot, 90% chance of screwing the Lions. Here's where I would normally start talking about free agency, but the Lions don't really have many options. They don't have a lot of salary cap space. If anything, they need to talk about who they're going to be cutting. Cliff Averill, maybe their guard, what's his name, Peterson, I think. They have a lot of options of who they need to cut rather than who they need to go after. They need a lot of fill holes in the draft. They could trade down in the number 5 pick. God, I'm really good at splitting the running back holes like that. But they have a lot of options that they could go for. Don't really need an offensive tackle. Riley Leif has done a fine job. Their first-round pick last year out of Iowa. But, Stafford had a good season. He didn't get sacked too often. So they need to look at solidifying the rest of the team. If one of the safeties, Vaccaro or Elam, have a great combine, they could see a surge like Barron did last year. Everybody thought Barron was a fringe first-rounder coming into February. After the combine, they thought he would be a solid mid-first-rounder. He ended up going, I think, 7th to Tampa because of just the need for safety, the need for defensive back, and just the need for a great player. The Lions could see a similar draft pick reach at 5 for one of the safeties on the board. The safeties this year are a little better, but God, look at me just lurking, doing a little Ed Reed impression, snagging the ball, and sealing the game. The Lions should really take a hard look at Tavon Austin, the little stud playmaker. This man, can do so much with all the attention diverted to Megatron. When the field's open for him, this man can really, really make some plays. The Lions have as many superstars as they have disappointments. They're on the verge of being great, or they could slip back into being nothingness. For MUTEvolution.com, this is DarkAlpha. Coming up next, the Cleveland Browns. This has been one of my absolute favorite games to play, despite using the Browns, and I can't wait to show it to you guys. See you next time.